You guys asked for it and here it is, the speed test between the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro 5G and Realme X2 Pro. The Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro comes paired with a Snapdragon 865, the latest from Qualcomm, and 8 gigs of RAM, while the Realme X2 Pro on the other hand comes paired with last generation Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip, also with 8 gigs of RAM, the version that I do indeed have here. As you guys can see the specs right over here with the new Snapdragon on the Xiaomi and the old one on the Realme, and both paired with 8 gigs of RAM. We both have 90Hz panels on both of the devices, though it's pretty cool on the X2 Pro you can choose individual apps for that. On the X2 Pro you also get high performance mode, which is something that is absent on the Xiaomi. We have all the animations turned off under developer options to keep things as accurate as possible, and also to keep things accurate we're going to be pairing GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner, so keep your eyes out down there. Guys, these are both monstrous phones, so without further ado, this is TechNick and let's go! So for those of you new to the channel, we're going to start with round 1 over here, GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner. We have a boot of 0.5 seconds quicker on the X2 Pro, so it gets the first points in round 1 over there. We also have a countdown timer at the bottom right hand corner for the round that we're currently on until the next round. We're going to move on to fingerprint sensors over here. The Realme X2 Pro opens it up quicker there, though we're going to do best out of 3 here. Realme opens it up quicker once again, and the third time lucky for the Realme X2 Pro is actually quicker than the Mi 10 Pro over here when using the fingerprint sensor underneath the screen. Same thing can be said with facial recognition. It is quite a lot faster than the Mi 10 Pro, and bear in mind that all animations on both phones are still all turned off. We have high performance mode still on the X2 Pro, and we have made sure that all the apps are cleared in the background. We're going to go ahead and start with round 2 over here and then go from PUBG to camera for round 3. Now in round 2 we're going to be focusing on app speeds and opening up each individual app and seeing which one can open up quicker. If it is a tie, I don't allocate a point, so if there is a millisecond between the two and you can't really see it with your human naked eye, then you're not going to be getting a point allocated to either device. So for the Realme X2 Pro is doing really well, even though it's running on 7nm chip technology as opposed to 7nm plus chipset technology on the Mi 10 Pro. It is also pretty much a 6-month-old phone now compared to the new Xiaomi, and the new Xiaomi has the latest and greatest Qualcomm chipset, with the Realme will soon be getting it with their Realme X50 Pro, which will be really awesome to see. It's actually coming out really soon, so keep your eyes out for that one. So far the X2 Pro is outdoing the Mi 10 Pro here, but guys, just stay tuned, things get really interesting. And for the internet speed test over here, it actually clocked out 4 seconds quicker on the X2 Pro, but the download and upload speeds are pretty similar, I must add. Going into the next app here, which is Spotify, we have the Mi 10 Pro opening that up slightly quicker, making it half the points of the X2 Pro. Going into Adobe Photoshop Express, the Mi 10 Pro snatches it again, and that was a tie over there, so no allocated points. As soon as we save an image to the gallery, the Mi 10 Pro slightly quicker in saving the image. Now we're going to go into Adobe Premiere Clip over here. I'm not going to be using Rush this time around because I want to export a 1080p clip. It does it a bit quicker as well, and it is slightly more accurate based on the previous tests that I have done. We're going to be taking this 4K clip, compressing it to 1080p, exporting it for quicker results. I have sped the clips up, but we did get a second quicker on the Mi 10 Pro as opposed to the X2 Pro, which was once again interesting. So guys, these phones are absolute monsters. I must say I've been using the Mi 10 Pro the past couple days, and it has been a breath of fresh air. It is an absolutely stunning device. I recommend it to anyone around, but guys, this phone is pretty much double the price of the phone besides it, the Realme X2 Pro, and performance wise they are really similar, if even the X2 Pro is slightly better in this regard. You're not going to see too many differences when it comes to playing games between these two devices. Maybe opening up apps as we see here, you'll notice a fraction of a second difference between the two, though even then it's not much of a difference. I'm bringing you guys this test just for raw specs, but if you were to pick up either of these devices with your hard-earned cash, you're going to be getting pretty similar performance across the board. So far we have 6 points ahead now on round 2 for the Mi 10 Pro. It is now caught up and surpassed the X2 Pro, though the X2 Pro is still hanging in there. I must add, it is doing a fantastic job with an older generation chip from Qualcomm. But bear in mind that 855 Plus chip is no slouch. It is a serious performer, and the Plus version of the 855 does increase it by around 20 to 30%, and the new Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 does about 10% on that. So there's not a massive difference between the two chips over here. I guess the speed test can kind of prove which one is the strongest, but once again, like I said earlier, it gets pretty interesting. Wait for round 3, and so far when it comes to games, the Mi 10 Pro is opening it up quicker. When we go to Subway Surfers though, the X2 Pro opens it up quicker. That's a little bit, I didn't see that one coming there. With games, I thought that the Mi 10 Pro would take it hand in hand every single time, as is the case with Temple Run 2 over here, going into the Mi 10 Pro slightly faster. Don't forget to take your eyes off that GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner to see my finger accuracy. As I do the test, I do slow the clip down at least 4 or 5 times to make sure that I am giving the point accurately, and if it is too close to call, I just don't allocate a point at all. If there are maybe 7 milliseconds or 8 milliseconds difference between the two, then I do go ahead and allocate a point. But a second quicker in PUBG over there for the Mi 10 Pro, closing that round up with 10 more points in round 2 as opposed to the X2 Pro. Now going for round 3 over here, this is not necessarily about RAM management, guys. This is about how fast we can reopen the apps that we have already opened. Going into the second app over here, the X2 Pro snags its first point since PUBG was pretty much a tie. Going into Subway Surfers, also once again, too close to call. But then once we jump into flip diving over here, the X2 Pro opens it up because the Mi 10 Pro did something strange with the screen and blacked out for a second. Same thing can be said with Google Chrome with the flashing image on the Mi 10 Pro. Opening up Netflix, things are pretty similar, and once again with YouTube, things seem similar, but as soon as we get loading, the X2 Pro loads slightly quicker and snags the point. We're on the same VPN server using Astro VPN, which I have to use in China because they block pretty much all of these apps over here. What a bummer, including that coronavirus story. When are they going to give us a break? Anyway, the Mi 10 Pro just snagged its first point in round 3 over there as opposed to the 4 of the X2 Pro. The X2 Pro also turned Astro VPN off slightly quicker than the Mi 10 Pro, getting another point over there. And I must add that the X2 Pro is surprisingly opening up a lot more apps a lot faster than the Mi 10 Pro with an older generation chipset. Most of these points are ties here. I was expecting the Mi 10 Pro to smash the X2 Pro with the new Qualcomm chipset, but that is not the case. Things are really similar with the overall score. And when it comes to boot, Face ID and fingerprint unlock, as well as refreshing the app icons when first loading up the phone, the X2 Pro snagged all of those points in round 1, making it pretty even right now when we're looking at the total tally, which we'll get to in a second. The X2 Pro once again opened up camera slightly quicker than the Mi 10 Pro, and the total points are exactly even, 22 apiece, guys. I'm really surprised by this score. The X2 Pro is holding itself quite well, even though it is still stuck on Android 9 as opposed to Android 10 on the Mi 10 Pro. I really love the Mi 10 Pro, and I hope you loved this video as much as I did making it. Until next time, guys, this is TechNick.